Okay, so I have to tell you about the wildest thing that happened to me yesterday. My internet just completely crashed. I'm talking the router lights were dead. I work from home, so I was basically having a full blown panic attack. I called the company, and by some miracle, they said a technician could be at my place in an hour. So I'm sitting there, looking a mess in my oldest sweatpants and a bun that's seen better days, just waiting. An hour later, there's a knock. I open the door, and I swear my brain just short circulated. Standing on my porch is literally the most attractive man I have ever seen in real life. He had this confident smile, these kind eyes, and he was wearing that uniform. You know the one. He introduced himself as Leo, so he comes in and he's all business at first. All right, let's take a look at your setup. And I'm trying so hard to act normal, but I'm just following him around my living room like a lost puppy. He smells incredible, by the way, like clean laundry and a little bit of cologne. He's checking the cables and he goes, "Yeah, the cables coming into the house is really weak. Weak is uplifting. It's not your fault. The connection just needs to be strengthened right at the source." And then he kneels down to plug his tester into the wall. And I'm just watching, trying not to be creepy. But then he looks back over his shoulder at me and he holds eye contact for just a second too long. And he says, his voice a little lower, "Sometimes all it takes is finding the right point of contact." My heart literally skipped a beat. I think I just mumbled something like, "Yeah, whatever you need to do." He finished his test and stood up, and he was standing so close to me in the hallway. We were just looking at each other, and the air felt so thick you could cut it with a knife. He smiled this little smirk and said, "You know, for being so frustrated, you're being incredibly patient." And I don't know where I found the courage, but I just said, "Well, the view's not bad." That was it. That was the moment. His whole demeanor changed. That professional mask just melted away, and he looked at me with this intense, heated look. He took a small step closer, and his voice was almost a whisper when he said, "The view from here is pretty incredible, too." He didn't wait for me to answer. His hands came up and cupped my face, so gently, and he leaned in. That first kiss, it started soft, but then his hand slid down to my waist, pulling me flush against him, and it deepened into something hungry. I could feel the firm muscles of his chest and shoulders through his uniform. My hands were tangled in his hair, and his were exploring the curves of my body, leaving a trail of heat everywhere they touched. We stumbled out of the hallway, and his tool belt hit the floor with a heavy final thud. My couch was too far, so we ended up on the soft rug in the living room, with the afternoon sun streaming in. He took his time, his hands and his mouth mapping every inch of me. It was a slow, building, electric current between us. Every touch, every whisper, every sigh just turned the voltage higher. When he finally slid my clothes off, it wasn't rushed. It was like he was committing me to memory. And the feeling of his skin against mine, it was like a current finally completing its circuit. The world just fell away, and all that existed was this pulse of pure sensation between us. Let's just say, he provided a very thorough hands-on demonstration of how to boost my connection. It was the most effective and physically intense customer service experience I have ever had. He left an hour later. My internet has never been faster. And my phone? Yeah, I might have a new number saved in it. So, all in all, I'd call that a successful service call.